Hello, everyone. This lecture is going to focus on what I will call perinatal social work. And today we are going to talk about what perinatal social work is, why it is so important, long implications of what mothers and children face, and programs that we work with as social workers that we should recommend or what type of resources we should be providing to this population. So perinatal social work is social work that focuses on working with pregnant women, and typically just during also the first year of the child's life. And perinatal social workers may work in different types of settings, including hospitals, clinics, and they also might do a broad social work and might offer different types of services. For example, they might work in a pediatric clinic or work in a health department that focuses on this population, or nonprofits that focuses on families with young children. So sometimes the social worker is called them because either the mom or infant is facing a health issue, something has gone wrong, or maybe because they're facing a psychosocial issue as well. Um, Either maybe the father or mother are experiencing this issue during the young child's life. And this type of social work requires an interdisciplinary team. And often we need the support of a doctor, nurse, pharmacy, OT, PT, and also we need to provide support with billing. There needs to be a lot of advocacy that we need to provide during this time. Something that we need to for example, that we may need to do is to screen and assess a client for postpartum depression. And you may also need to do a care plan so that the social worker and client are in agreement in regards to the kind of work that you want to do together. And also, you need to provide some type of intervention involving the coordination of other services. And I would say that this is ideally done in a home setting. And the more that you can lay your eyes, the more that you can show in that home setting, the better you may be able to work with that family to provide resources. And you need to help navigate the healthcare system, since the healthcare system is so complicated. And as social workers, we do need to ask what's going on. And it may take a lot of time and it may be complicated to do phone calls. So again, it is our role to be helpful and to help navigate this system. And for discharge, you want to have a process in place for letting the family move on and let them live their lives without your hands-on support. So next, let's talk about why perinatal social work is so important. So one of the main reasons we need to advocate for our clients in this area is because there's a lot of racism in the US. There's high rates of infant mortality. Women and children are often experiencing social disadvantages because of what they, and these leads to poor health outcomes. Again, there's a lot of structural racism in our healthcare system, and there's need for social workers to advocate because there are implications for infants for the rest of their lives. So if they have difficulties as young babies, as young infants, they will experience or might experience negative outcomes for the rest of their lives. So having these early interventions is very important. Again, in this graph, we see that infant mortality rates are the highest for African-American mothers. And you can also listen to NPR video from this week. which indicates that structural racism is inequitable and it leads to inequitable health outcomes and deaths among minority groups. And there are a lot of things that prenatal social workers need to offer, including emotional and social support. You must also stop and think about how to address structural racism that is present in healthcare and whatever else you see it. So for example, we should consider social disadvantages that new mothers may be facing, including poverty, housing, or homelessness, hunger, the ability of not being able to obtain food, employment or financial concerns, things that new mothers might be concerned with as they bring a new infant into the world. Because in addition to this, they might also be experiencing domestic violence. And these are situations that you as social workers should watch out for. You should also watch out for unhealthy coping behaviors, because even without all of these challenges or social disadvantages that I mentioned, being a new parent or a parent of a child during the first year, there are different types of challenges or things that you're learning, including breastfeeding, and then also sleeping patterns are incredibly disruptive. And you need to watch for these to provide the necessary support and assess for postpartum depression. Um, Also, people of color may be receiving less treatment or interventions, and it might be due to institutional racism, also due to communication issues between the client and patient, and logistical barriers such as not having transportation to be able to obtain these services. And the reason why postpartum depression happens is because of the estrogen and progesterone levels sharply drop after birth, after giving birth. And also depression is instigated when big life changes happen. So we have these biological and social factors, and also other factors may include being a teen mom or having multiple babies, such as twins, when there are health issues with the infant or with the mother, and also especially with those families who lack family or social support. So you should be watching out for these if women describe having intense sadness or crying a lot, eating or sleeping too much or too little, a sense of withdrawal or disconnect from the child, and having feelings of guilt. We should also watch for suicidal thoughts or for signs that they might want to harm the baby. And also another role of the social worker is communicating with the partner or the family, helping them understand what the mother is going through, facilitating this discussion. And also, I did include a postnatal depression screening tool on Canvas this week. So please use the tool carefully and follow the instructions. And if you use it to screen someone, please follow up. It is incredibly harmful to use these tools and not follow up and offer support. It is also a liability for your license as well. So always also work with other professionals such as doctor to check for underlying health problems such as thyroid levels, and making sure that you take these into consideration. So again, these are the reasons why it is important, why we should practice social work in this area. So now let's take a look at the long-term implications. So research has shown that children of mothers with untreated postpartum depression may have lower IQs and slower language development. They might also develop more behavioral problems. And this may be due because of having less interaction with the mother. if the mother is less engaged due to depression. So when we think about poverty, it may be due to issues of the mother starting in early life. So poverty and social disadvantages may lead to higher levels of postpartum depression, which in turn can lead to IQ and behavioral problems, which then can lead to poor educational outcomes for children later in life, which will then lead again to poverty and financial concerns themselves. And round and around, this can go from one generation to another. So this is why prenatal and early childhood social work is so important, not just to meet the immediate needs of the child and mother and family, but to consider the long-term and even future generations and the impact it can have on children long-term. So for example, you learn about attachment theory in HIPSI 1. And this theory holds that forming a secure attachment with an infant provides a foundation for healthy emotional growth. So this attachment continues throughout the lifespan, and it is important to break some of these old patterns. So you, again, must help your clients find parenting groups or classes that can help them break these cycles and insecure attachment. And also, again, those supports that will help them address some of the social disadvantages that they're facing. So lastly, I want to touch on some programs and policies. You already had a policy class as well, so I just want to go through these briefly and point out some resources or supports when you work with this population, with expecting mothers with young children, with infants. So this is a special population, and you want to make sure that you're aware of some resources. So as you know, TANF offers cash assistance to families with young children, and WIC also is, which stands for Women, Infants, and Children. It provides food for pregnant women and women after having given birth. It provides support in the form of healthy food to pregnant women, postpartum women, and up to 6 months if they are not breastfeeding, and up to a year if they're not if they are breastfeeding their children. And they provide support to children up until they are 5. And also infants and young children may be eligible to attend Head Start program. These are government supported programs, and they offer child care from birth up to age 5, and it helps them be better prepared for kindergarten. And sometimes there's transportation services involved in the Head Start program as well. So next, Medicaid offers health insurance for low-income children, and CHIP is also for children who are not necessarily in the low-income bracket families, but they may also be able to provide some support because they're not able to afford private healthcare coverage. Title X provides support with contraception and also family planning. And I do want to point out, though, that some of these programs or coverages varies by state. So for example, New Mexico, Indiana, Massachusetts may have different types of coverage. And also by agency, because different agencies might have different types of services or support. And also some of these programs may not be available for undocumented immigrants, and others might be. Almost all federal programs have restrictions on undocumented families. So for example, Medicaid and CHIP, undocumented immigrants would not be able to access those programs, but their children would be eligible if they are US citizens. But sometimes families may be afraid of seeking those resources. So we may need to again encourage families and provide the right information to them if their children are eligible, even if the parents are undocumented. Because for undocumented immigrants, the parents, they cannot even participate in the affordable care marketplace. And even when immigrants are legal, they have to wait 5 years to be eligible for Medicaid from the time that they became legal US residents. But undocumented immigrants, they're eligible for Hair Start, Title X, and emergency Medicaid. But emergency Medicaid is when something major happens. And there are also income guidelines that people must meet. And tax credit, you have to have a social security number, and those are programs that undocumented immigrants cannot take part of. Next, employers are likely to offer some kind of family leave. But if you're lucky, it might be paid, but it is often not paid. Everyone is eligible for FMLA, which protects mother, father for up to 12 weeks of leave, but the person would have to work at the workplace for at least a year. And this is only for larger companies who have at least 50 workers. And this would help the client so that their health coverage can continue during this time of leave. But sometimes the paperwork is also the problem, not knowing about it and not knowing how to complete it. So our job is to help them complete it correctly and file it. Also, employers should also provide reasonable time to pump the breast milk, and also provide an appropriate location, not a bathroom. And you should also help your client access the following local support, such as parenting classes, postpartum support groups, and patient units, and also diapers, formula, clothes, and other tax preparation. So again, I hope this lecture was helpful as you envision working with this population in the future.